In this video I'm going to show you how to knit those really classy and elegant looking mittens in wool yarn with a little I-cord edge in the beginning in a contrast yarn. It is a full step-by-step tutorial, very beginner friendly, so let's start. So what we would need is 2 needles. We will knit them through magic loop. So I have 3.5 millimeter 60 centimeter needle, and then for I-cord edge I have 3 millimeter needle. We would need around 1 ball of yarn. This is actually what I have left after knitting 2 mittens, and I have used Filcolana Pernilla, which is a DK weight, well, maybe even heavy sport weight, together with 1 thread of silk mohair. And then for the I-cord edge I've used 2 threads of brushed alpaca, which I have left from another project. The gauge that I have is 21 on 30. The measurements that I'm using is more of adult size, small adult size, well, medium I guess as well. My palm is around 18 centimeters. You can use those measurements if you have very close, the width of your palm is very close to that. It still should be fine because obviously the wool is stretchy. If you wanna need more male mittens or children mittens, I have the measurements in the pattern that you can check below. I hope this will be useful. If you like this video, if you found it useful, interesting, and you managed to knit some mittens, which I'm really hoping you could, then please like and subscribe. That means a lot to me, and that is I always appreciate some support. Let's start. We will start by casting on our stitches in the contrast yarn. I have 2 threads of just some brushed alpaca here, and I will need to cast on 36 stitches. If you don't know how to cast on the stitches, please see the video below attached here. We're gonna use long tail cast on. So let's do it. 36 stitches. So now I have 36 stitches on my needle, and I need to join it in the rounds like this, right? So what we need to do is we will use magic loop technique. I will show you how to do it. Of course, you can use double pointed needles, especially if you're not beginner and you're familiar. I always use magic loop just because I like it. In order to join in the round, we need to cast on 1 additional stitch. Let's just do it. Stitch 37. And now we will separate, move a little bit to the needle further down, separate approximately half like this. Bend your needle and then just pull it through so that the yarn goes on actual needle from the cable. So let's just do it. Moving. It doesn't have to be like super equal. It's gonna work fine anyway. So you have it now here. Make sure, and that's quite important, that your yarn is not twisted. As you can see here, it's all my loops, they're all on one side, and here as well. Good. So now what you need to do is you need to slip one stitch from this needle onto this needle, and you can use additional needle if you have. You can also just use fingers. So we do it like this. You take the stitch from your left needle where you have your yarn, and you just pull it on your right needle like this. Perfect. Now what you need to do is take the second stitch from your right needle and pull it through. Like this. Slip it as well through the right needle. Might take a little practice if you do it by hand. You can use the needle if you want to help, or just kind of stretch it like this. Nice. Now just a little bit tug on your thread. Place the beginning of the round marker here, and we're ready to knit. I'm taking my needle, right needle, and doing a knit stitch like this. So I'm pulling the white yarn through the loop and slipping and slipping, and I'm just continuing doing so. First 1 or 2 rounds after cast on, always a little bit sort of shaky. That's absolutely normal. It will get much better once everything is in place, the tension is established, and you can just knit and enjoy it. We're knitting it till the end of the round. That was the first half. You know that you have finished your first round by the time you get to your beginning of the round marker. Perfect. This is your marker. You can use it if you want. If you can easily tell where is your round begins, then you don't have to. So that was the first round. You can see it's a little bit loose here. We just need to tug it a little bit on the threads here, like this. That gets much better. At this point, you can also cut off the contrast yarn around here. We can do that. All the ends will be weaved on later, but so that it doesn't get messy, you can just do that. So now we need to continue to knit in the round, just knitting and knitting for about 8 centimeters. Let's do one more round together, and then we can meet at the end of those 8 centimeters. If you're a little bit lost, remember that when you knit on the round, your thread will always be on the right needle, right? So this is how you know which needle to use for magic loop. Again, if you have some loose threads or something look very loose, you can always just tug on it. It's gonna look much better. So now we have finished our second round in stockinette stitch. Congratulations! You can see it's already something starts forming. So let's just continue knitting in the round until we have 7 centimeters, 7.5, 8 centimeters, and then we'll meet there. Once we have reached our desired length, 8 centimeters, in this case, what we would need to do is to set up a space for a thumb opening or a gusset. I'm knitting now my left hand, so as you can see, we would need to increase our fabric here so we get a little bit more space to accommodate the thumb. Then we will put those stitches on hold and knit the thumb a little bit later. Knit to the beginning of your round where you have a stitch marker, slip marker, knit 2 stitches, place marker, knit till the end of the round. So once we get to the beginning of the round, our 2 stitch markers, we have now 2 stitches here. What we will do is every other round we will do increases within those 2 stitch markers, 2 increases, so that the fabric that we will form will go this way to accommodate for the thumb. So increase round, slip marker. First increase that we're going to make will be a right linen increase and one right. You place the thread, put in 2 stitches on your right needle, and you knit it regularly like this. Tighten it up, knit 2. Right before the left marker we do a left linen decrease, taking the thread between 2 stitches, putting it on the left needle like this, and knitting it through So you can see here the back loop. Now you have 4 stitches between your stitch markers. Knit to the end of the round and then knit 1 more round regularly. Repeat the section, so increase round, regular round, increase round, regular round, until you reach 16 stitches. In our case, it will depend on the size and the yarn. For this yarn and for my thumb size, 16 stitches. I'll meet you there. So now we have 16 stitches in between those 2 markers, and you see your thumb opening looks quite nice, like a little triangle. So the next step that we are going to do is that we're going to place those thumb stitches on, I will put it on a little cable here. We will cast on 2 more stitches. Here you can see like this, so move them quite close on the needle. This is going to be our thumb. Then using the back loop method, just take your yarn, rub it around thumb, more like this, so it's tighter. 1, 2, perfect. And we just continue knitting in the round our palm. I think around 8 centimeters, or until your piece goes wrap around your little finger, somewhere here, and then we will start doing decreases here. So we are at around 8 centimeters mark. We can start doing our decreases, and the way we'll do it is by placing 2 markers on each side of our palm here. The total amount of stitches you should have is 36, so 18 on one needle and 18 on another needle, and we will make 4 decreases every other round. The decreases after the marker will always be left leaning. The decreases before the marker will always be right leaning. So at the beginning of the round is here where on the side seam we placed our marker. The next decrease we will have is left leaning decrease. So we'll do a simple SSK, as in slip knit. You could also do knit 2 together through the back loop. Then we knit across the remaining stitches on this needle. Three stitches before here, before we run out of our 18 stitches, we would do a right linen decrease, knit 2 together like this, and then knit 1, place marker. Now again we're going to do a decrease after the marker, which will be a left linen decrease, so we will do slip, slip, knit, and now we are going to knit until 3 stitches left on this needle. Or until marker. You have a marker here, but it's a little bit, yeah. So we do knit 2 together. Might be a little bit tricky, but good to maintain the tension on the breaks. And then knit 1. And that was 1 round. We decreased 4 stitches on each side of in each side seam basically. Next round we just knit all stitches, knit across, and then we continue to do decreases for about 4 centimeters. Once you have 8 stitches left in total and the stitches are divided between both sides, 4 and 4, graft 2 sides together using Kitchener stitch. It provides the most invisible join you can have. Obviously there is a seam, but it's absolutely invisible and it looks very smooth. I have a tutorial on the Kitchener stitch if you are in doubt. To begin working on our thumb, we need to place all the stitches we had on hold for a thumb, 16 stitches, back to the needle, and then we just need to add a new ball of yarn. Like this, and at the same time, we have those additional 2 stitches here we need to pick up that we have cast on, otherwise we will have a hole. We don't want a hole in our mittens, so what we're going to do, we're just going to pick up here 2 stitches, tighten them up, you see, pick up 1 more, tighten it up, place beginning of the round marker. And now we just continue to knit in the round, trying to knit tight. Pretty tight around the hole. So we knit in the round until the stitch marker, until 2 stitches before stitch marker, those stitches that we just picked up, and then we would need to knit them 2 together. After that, we continue to knit in the round for 5.5–6 centimeters before we do the same type of decreases we have just done for the palm. See, now we have those 2 stitches before the marker here. So what you need to do is knit this stitch together with the previous stitch, so you sort of avoid the hole like this if you need to, because we also added yarn here, it might be a bit loose. So we knit those 2 together, we tug on the yarn so it's a little bit thicker, and then we knit those 2 together and move our beginning of the round stitch 1 4. Knit those 2 together, tighten the yarn, and then just continue in the round. Now you've joined them in the round, and you can work your thumb like this. That should go pretty quickly. There's not too many stitches. So now we have knitted our mittens. I have just finished this one and I still have my ends out. This one I have already weaved everything in, and I've done it so I can show you the difference between the edges. Here we have an I-cord edge additionally to the cast on edge. So if you like this look, you can keep watching and do the I-cord edging with me. If you're fine with this, you can just weave in all the ends and you have your mittens ready. Let me know how long did it take you to actually knit 1 or 2 of those, because they should be very quick, but obviously it depends on the speed. So I-cord edge. To start the I-cord edge, we need 2 things. We need the yarn that we want our edge in, and we need a little bit smaller needles. We have knitted those mittens in 3.5 millimeter needle. We will do I-cord edge in 3 millimeter needle. I will use my circular needle. You could also use just double pointed needles if it's easier. 3 stitches, 1 2 3, and now we need to pick up a first stitch from the edge. You can see this is the stitch I'm looking at. We will need to pick up 2 legs here, find a little hole like this with the right side facing you. We will pick up those 2 legs. You can always spread the fabric to see it a little bit easier. That will be our 4th stitch here. So now I have 4 stitches on the needle. We need to slide the needle all the way across to the other end. And now we just need to knit those 2 first stitches regularly. Your yarn is a little bit far, but that's how the I-cord edge is formed. So 1 2, and then 3 and 4 we will knit together through the back loop. So we have 3 stitches on the needle, and we have joined and worked our first stitch from the cast on edge. Now we're picking up our second stitch, again 2 legs, and we have 4 stitches again. We worked them in the same way as we did before, slide in the needle, work in 1, 2, and work in 3 and 4 together through the back loop. And again we have 3 stitches now, so we need to pick up 1 more stitch again here. Once you have 4 stitches on the needle, then we slide it and knit it. Knit 2 and then knit stitch 3 and 4 together through the back loop. And basically that's it. We continue doing it, picking up every stitch along the cast on edge to form the I-cord edge. And then eventually you will see how it starts forming here. Once we get to the end of the I-cord edge, we can just, there's no more stitches left to pick up. We can just cast the last 3 stitches as regularly would. And then we just need to sew it off, sew those edges off like this together. We're done.